In a small, cozy town, four friends, Anna, Mark, Sarah, and Jake, gathered at their favorite cafe on a foggy evening. The atmosphere was warm, with the smell of fresh coffee and pastries wafting through the air. As they settled into their usual booth, the topic of conversation turned to something intriguing they had recently encountered online: the Mandela Effect. Anna, animated and curious, leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Have you guys heard of the Berenstain Bears? I swear they were called the Berenstain Bears when I was a kid." Mark chuckled, shaking his head. "You're not the only one. I thought the Monopoly Man had a monocle, too." Sarah and Jake exchanged glances, a mix of amusement and confusion washing over them. They laughed together, but as they shared their memories, a strange chill ran down their spines. The more they discussed these examples, the more they realized how many people remembered things incorrectly. "Isn't it weird?" Sarah added, her voice low. "How can so many of us be wrong about such simple things?" The friends nodded, the unease settling into their conversation as they began to dig deeper. They pulled out their phones and started researching various examples of the Mandela Effect, surprised at how many instances involved pop culture references. They came across classic examples, like how many people remembered the famous line from Star Wars as, "Luke, I am your father," instead of the actual quote. As the night grew darker, their laughter faded into contemplation. They realized that this phenomenon was not just a quirky quirk of memory. It felt like a sign of something deeper. Their curiosity piqued. They decided to record a discussion about the Mandela Effect for their YouTube channel, wanting to share their thoughts and findings with a wider audience. They were eager to see how others reacted, and if anyone else had experienced similar memories. With cameras rolling, the friends shared their insights, excitement bubbling over as they delved into various examples. "It's like we're living in a world where reality is shifting," Anna exclaimed, her passion infectious. Just then, a mysterious woman in black, with a long coat and an intense gaze, approached their table. The friends fell silent as she leaned in closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Be careful with what you explore," she warned. "The Mandela Effect is a sign of chaos in the universe. Some truths are best left alone." The friends exchanged uneasy glances. Who was this woman, and why did her words feel so ominous? After she walked away, a heavy silence hung in the air. "That was strange," Mark said, trying to lighten the mood. But deep down, they all felt the weight of her warning. Determined to uncover more about the Mandela Effect, they planned a trip to a local abandoned building rumored to be haunted and linked to strange occurrences. They believed it might give them some insight into the strange phenomena surrounding the Mandela Effect. As they approached the building, a sense of dread settled in. The structure loomed before them, its windows boarded up, and its doors creaking ominously in the wind. Once inside, they were greeted by the stale air and an unsettling quiet that made their skin crawl. Old photographs lined the walls, showcasing faces that looked disturbingly similar to modern celebrities, but the dates beneath them were decades old. "What the hell is this?" Jake murmured, stepping closer to examine a photograph of a man who resembled a famous actor. "How is this possible?" As they explored deeper, the atmosphere shifted. A cold breeze swept through the hallways, and the lights flickered ominously. Suddenly, they heard whispers echoing through the darkened rooms, chilling their bones. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. "We should leave. This place feels wrong." But curiosity drove them forward. They had to uncover the truth. In one room, they discovered strange symbols etched into the walls. Some resembled runes they had seen in their own lives, making them question their experiences. Each step they took felt heavier, as if the building itself was alive and aware of their presence. The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a storm. Then they stumbled upon a room filled with mirrors, their surfaces dusty but strangely captivating. As they approached, each friend saw their reflection. However, something was off. In the mirrors, they appeared twisted and dark, haunted versions of themselves with hollow eyes and sinister smiles. "What is happening?" Anna gasped, stepping back in horror. Just then, the mirrors began to ripple like water, and the twisted versions of themselves reached out, as if trying to pull them in. Panic set in, and they realized they were trapped in a nightmare. Jake, in a moment of sheer terror, smashed one of the mirrors with a nearby chair. A blinding light erupted from the shattered glass, enveloping them in its brilliance. When the light faded, they found themselves back in the cafe, surrounded by patrons who continued their conversations, oblivious to what had just occurred. Confused and shaken, they tried to piece together their experience, but everything felt surreal. Was it all just a figment of their imaginations? As they exchanged worried glances, they felt the weight of their adventure pressing down on them. In the days that followed, the friends struggled to come to terms with what had happened. Each night, they would gather, recounting their experience, hoping to make sense of it all. Yet, the shadows of that night lingered in their minds. They began to notice small, unsettling occurrences in their lives. Objects misplaced, familiar faces appearing in old photographs, and memories that didn't quite align with reality. Their sense of reality began to fracture. Mark found an old book in his attic with a different title than he remembered, and Sarah stumbled upon a news article with names and dates that didn't match her recollection. The more they shared, the more they realized that they were not alone in their confusion. Determined to find answers, they reached out to online communities discussing the Mandela Effect. They discovered that others had experienced similar phenomena. There were countless stories of people recalling events differently, things that should have been concrete facts. This realization fueled their anxiety. Were they slipping into an alternate reality? As Halloween approached, they found themselves more paranoid. They kept glancing over their shoulders, fearing they might encounter the mysterious woman again. Anna suggested they visit the abandoned building once more, hoping to confront whatever had caused their shared experience. "We have to go back and face this together," she insisted. That night, they returned to the abandoned building, armed with flashlights and a sense of determination. As they entered, the air felt heavy, thick with anticipation. They retraced their steps, their hearts racing as they reached the room with the mirrors again. "What if we see ourselves again?" Mark asked, fear creeping into his voice. Together, they faced the mirrors. This time, the reflections looked normal, just their own faces staring back at them. But as they breathed a sigh of relief, the atmosphere shifted once more. The lights flickered, and the whispers began again, swirling around them like a tempest. The shadows in the corners of the room thickened, creeping closer as they felt a cold presence enveloping them. "Leave!" a voice screamed, echoing through the room. "You do not belong here!" The friends panicked, their hearts racing as they turned to escape. But the exit was no longer visible. The room had transformed into a maze of shifting walls and shadows. In a moment of sheer terror, they stumbled back into the mirror room, and this time they could see the twisted versions of themselves breaking through the glass. "You cannot escape your reality." The reflections cackled, their voices a chilling chorus. With every ounce of strength, They fought against the dark forces, refusing to succumb to the fear that threatened to consume them. Together, they shattered the remaining mirrors, releasing a blinding light that filled the room. As the light enveloped them, they felt themselves being pulled in different directions, their realities colliding. And just like that, they found themselves back in the cafe once again. But this time, something was different. The atmosphere felt lighter, the shadows had receded, and the whispers had stopped. The friends exchanged relieved glances, but a lingering question remained. Had they truly escaped? Or was this just another layer of their fractured reality? From that day on, they continued to explore the mysteries of the Mandela Effect, documenting their experiences and sharing their findings online. They knew they had touched something beyond comprehension, a thin veil between realities that most people would never understand. And as they shared their story, they couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, in a parallel universe, their reflections were still trapped, waiting for the chance to break free. With every new discovery, they were reminded that reality is a fragile construct, easily influenced by memories, fears, and the unknown. The Mandela Effect had opened their eyes to the possibilities lurking just beyond their understanding, and they would never look at the world the same way again. As they sat in their cafe, reminiscing about their adventure, Anna smiled, her eyes sparkling with determination. "We're just getting started," she declared. "There are so many more mysteries to uncover." And with that, they raised their mugs in a toast to the strange, unpredictable nature of reality, ready to face whatever came next.